Hi dear friends, today we will discuss in detail the approach to NEET PG 2019. We need to know the essentials for this exam. First of all, this exam is made up of 300 questions. It is a single day exam based on a computer based test with 1/4 negative marking. And most likely the exam will be in the first week of January 2019. So we have at our disposal around 4 months. So these 4 months now are very crucial, and we will discuss in detail how to prepare for this. How to attempt the exam is an entirely different story, which we'll cover in subsequent videos, and how we approach individual subjects based on the repeat questions and the repeat topics will be discussed in subject-wise approach to NEET PG on the basis of NEET PG 2018 exam. First of all, if you're targeting NEET 2019, the first thing you need, whether you're an intern or a post-intern, whether it's your first attempt or it's your second attempt or your third attempt, most important thing is your confidence level and a belief in yourself that yes, you can do it. So in this video, first, my purpose will be to instill in you a sense of confidence, a sense of belief that yes, you can do it. And for that, this is one of my favorite movies. If you remember the movie Catch Me If You Can. And this dialogue from that famous movie, The Story of Two Mice, has been quoted here, where two little mice once fell in a bucket of cream. The first mouse quickly gave up and drowned. The second mouse wouldn't quit. So he struggled and he struggled. He struggled so hard that he eventually churned the cream into butter and then finally crawled out of it. So in this movie, father will always ask his son, which mouse you are. So this is my question to you. Are you the second mouse who will struggle and give it a fight to win over this exam? Because if you won't give a fight, you will drown like the first mouse. Many students over years who have met me, who have talked to me, they generally tell me that their internship is very hectic. So it is not feasible to prepare while you are doing your internship, while you are doing your daily duties, your night duties, your calls. So even, do you think it is realistic that I should aim for the upcoming NEET exam? This may be a genuine question you may have in your mind that, okay, should I really target or focus on getting through this NEET exam? Why not sit down and prepare for next 1 year, take it lightly and do your internship, and then 1 year you can sit down and without post-internship you can prepare for the exam. A fair strategy. But in this fair strategy, one thing I would like to add, that if you consider that this is not feasible to get through within internship, then that is totally wrong. And if you're not working to get it, then you are underperforming. Howsoever less time you may have, your intent is the most important thing. So that's why my answer to that question, which most students come and ask me, is it possible to crack NEET PG with a hectic internship? The answer to this is not yes. The answer to this is not no. The answer to this is what you have to choose for yourself. And for that I would say this famous quote from the movie Man of Steel. The only way to know how strong you are, the only way to know how high you can fly is to test your limits. So it is for you to take a call and test yourself. And if you take a call and test yourself, you realize you are always stronger than what you actually believe you are. This is the basic dynamics of success. For succeeding in any phase of life, maybe it's personal, it's professional, you need to be desperate. And this desperation gives you the passion to achieve. This is not for NEET, this is not for AIIMS, this is for any entrance exam, anything you want to achieve desperately in your life. This gives you a sense of passion, a passion which will help you conquer your fear of failure and in turn will get you the result. So even if you think that you can fail, Your passion has to be so much, your desperation has to be so high that you overcome your fear of failure and move towards your success. So this is a simple way to present that your desperation will is directly proportional to your passion, which will inversely relate to your fear of failure and finally directly related to the result or the outcome you will ever have in anything and everything you attempt or think of achieving in your life. So now, coming to the crux, how to approach, how to prepare for NEET PG 2019, which is in 4 months. So, these are the 4 phases I want everyone who is watching this video will perhaps go through. The first phase is this phase, where you might be thinking that how feasible it is. Can I do it? There's a question mark. Perhaps I'll give you a strategy and you'll start thinking. Then you'll start thinking, you'll start applying, and there will be a stage that the process starts clicking. And this is the final stage when you feel your strategy is right and you're getting results on day-to-day basis. So I hope by the end of this video, each one of you will be able to cross to stage 1 to stage 4. And we'll see to that. The first and the most important thing to achieve anything in life is planning. But what today, guys, I will teach you is micro-planning. If you take big targets, you need to be focused on small goals. Big targets, but small goals. And you have to make sure that you win each 100 meters to win a marathon. And how to do it? That's why, first thing, plan the next day the night before. So, even if, let us say, you start your preparation today, I'll maybe addressing someone who has not even thought about giving NEET PG 2019 in January. He may start today. The first thing what you will do today is tonight you will think and plan for only the next day. Don't plan for months, don't plan for years. You'll always fail. Plan for the next day and make sure you plan for each and every hour in that next day. This is called as micro-planning. The most essential thing in micro-planning is you have to initiate it well. So let us suppose you made a very elaborate plan, maybe a 10-page plan for tomorrow. Writing down everything and each and every dividing, like you have prepared a desperate kind of timetable. People do that. Like from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I will do this. From 11:30 to 12 I will do this. From 12 to 12:30 I will do this. Fine. But the first thing where you will fail is if you wake up late in the morning. You have already initiated on a wrong track. So that is very important. The start, the initiation of anything, any process has to be right. So what I generally suggest people, that half the battle of the day is won is you wake up early and start your day. Most people think a lot, get tired, sleep excessively, and generally it happens when you're stressed out, you oversleep, sleep excessively. Have an adequate good sleep, but start your day on time. Because starting your day on time will help you follow your daily schedule and the plan you have prepared. Stick to that plan. Today, we will discuss a concept which is a very important concept of what is called the concept of interstice. I don't know how many of you are really familiar with this term called as interstice. Now this term is used to denote the interval, a time period between the end of one project or activity and the start of the other. In everyday life, we get many interstices. I'll give you an example. Like, just giving an example, like if you are going for a coaching, okay? You're going for a coaching, you attended the class, you're coming back. Now there's an interstice. The moment you leave your coaching center and you reach home and finally when you start studying. So there is an interstice. This interstice maybe as short as 30 minutes, maybe 2 hours. Now it is very important how you use this interstice. Now the difference between people who do exceptionally well in life is the utilization of this interstice. There are very small interstices which you have to capitalize on. This time, like if you are a student who's studying in Delhi, you travel by metro. If you're smart enough, you can use, while you're going back in your metro, in 30 minutes, you can revise a lot of images you may have saved previously. You may revise already what has been taught to you. You may recite something you generally forget to your friends, which will substantiate your memory. You may plan what exactly you will do after you go home. So there are various ways of using an interstice. The problem is people don't value that interstice. They value, today it's already 9 o'clock post coaching, so I am tired. So I have only 2 hours after going home to study, or maybe 3 hours. The time for that 2 hours and 3 hours, they are always available to everyone. But if you want to get an edge above others, it is a use of that interstice, a vacuum period between two activities, which you have to find. And this concept, if you are care, then you can use this concept while you are on duty, while you are attending your internship. During internship also, you will get many interstices in a day. While you are going for your posting, in between your posting, finishing one patient, shifting on to the other patient, finishing one task to the other one task. Each interstice, you can fit in one or more activities or one or more things you need to revise. Now this is very important, because I am particularly addressing those people who believe that with internship it is difficult to clear entrance. I agree, it is difficult. That's why it's fun. If it was not difficult, nothing would have been fun to achieve. If it was so easy, then what is the fun in that? So that's why here comes your micro planning. You don't have to focus on how many hours you study in a day. You have to focus on saving the time you waste. Because this is involuntary waste of time in those interstices. And sometimes those interstices, they become too prolonged that you even lose touch of the time. So that is very important. Now this is a difficult habit to practice. It is very difficult, believe me. But if you start developing a habit of using the interstices in your life, you will become far more efficient than most people you ever meet in your life. And this will improve your efficiency in your work, in your studies, and even in your personal life. If you know that this is that interstice which can get me an edge. Next thing is, you take one day at a time. You live each day. You know, there's a famous saying by Thomas Alva Edison. You know, someone came and talked to Thomas Alva Edison that, okay, you have discovered so many things. How is this possible? How does it happen to you? And you know, he amusingly replied that when I comb my hair, I only think of my hair. Now that is the crux. You have to give 100% to anything and everything you are doing. Let us suppose you are studying, but at the same time you are distracted. Your mind is not there. You are thinking either that you will fail, you will not be able to get your rank. You are thinking because probably your relationship is not going well. You are thinking that probably I should read some other book. Then you are missing out on actually the task you are doing. So that is what Thomas Alva Edison meant when he said, when I comb my hair, I think only of my hair. So that is called as devotion. That is called as focus. Whatever you study, maybe it's for a small duration or a large duration, you have to give your 100% focus at that time. And you don't plan for months. Like even if you are worried that in 4 months you won't be able to finish the syllabus, doesn't matter. Your syllabus will never finish before the exam. Your focus has to be only one. I have to focus to achieve my micro target I have set for the day. That's all. If you take care of the pennies, the pounds will take care of themselves. So you have to focus on each cent which is going to make your dollar. That is the crux. So that's why you take one day at a time. That will help you to decrease your stress level. Because if you are continuously worrying that your syllabus won't finish, you are falling behind, then your efficiency every day falls. Forget to everything. Every day is a new day. So if you take one day at a time. Next thing is always study topics with a stopwatch on. Now this is very, very important. Most people think this is not realistic or it gets boring. But actually when you are studying, you generally lose track of time. Most of the time we are wasting more than what is required on a particular topic. We waste more time on individual pages than it is required. So using a stopwatch will always help you keep a check. For example, you are reading one page of a pathology book, maybe an MCQ book, let us say. Ideally for me it should not take more than 10 minutes. But if you are spending 20 minutes on that, then it's wrong. Probably it was not read. You could have finished one more page. So that is how you have to focus. Focus on your stopwatch. Keep a check that yes, whether I'm spending too much time on individual topics. For that you will get a feedback from the stopwatch itself, and that in turn will save your time in long term. Initially all the things I'm telling you are difficult to apply, but once you get a hinge of all these things and they become a part of you, then you start saving a lot of time. You start getting ahead of most people, and these things need to be inculcated in your personality to become really successful in life. As I've already taught you, manage your hospital duty hours better. Another thing you can focus. Today most of the exams have practical approach based questions on procedures, on instruments, on IV cannulas, on ET tubes. Most of us have been posted in one other department during our internship. That is the time to clear your practical doubts. Don't consider your internship a total waste of your time. I know we have passed to that stage, so you may be burdened with paperwork. Agreed. But out of that, you have to find what can help you. Your internship is not waste. It is only waste if you make it so. You can use that to improve your practical aspect. You can ask your seniors how to handle real life situations. Like most people attend extra classes for ECGs, which I feel if you work in medicine casualty, you'll see so many patients who come with MI. You'll see the real life situations. Try to inculcate those things, because those things are the things, your concepts, which will help you during the final exam, and they will help you solve. Only if you have an intent. Why I am telling you each and every of this point, each one of you may be already aware of this, that this should be done, but actually most of us hardly even apply this in our practical lives. Next thing is image collection. Now these days, whether it's AIIMS exam, whether it's NEET exam, there's a huge hue and cry about image based questions. Like people generally come and ask me, should I buy a new book? There are thousands of images on Google. What should I do? Should I do see image for everything? And how do I remember all these images? Agreed, a lot of stress. But first of all, this requires discipline. For most of the things you ever read in your life, you see in your internship, you can take images. Agree to that. You'll get a lot of images from your coaching institute also, or from your books also if you have books for image-based questions. But what my point is, at the end of your preparation, how will you revise that? The problem is people keep on collecting images. All of us are fond of collection, right? But what we don't have is the art of collection. So how do we learn the art of collection? The art of collection comes from stratification, comes from discipline. So for that, I have taken an example. If you can see this image, now this is an image I have taken from a screenshot from my phone. I am a neurosurgeon. So till date, I apply this. So during my residency, I learned some things on duty. Some senior taught me, some image came on WhatsApp and all that. What I used to do is, I have classified, as you can see here, I have classified my neurosurgery into vascular, pediatric neurosurgery, neuro-oncology, some edited images and spine images. So I have divided my neurosurgery here. So the advantage is, any image I click, first of all, I label that image. And I label that image and shift it to this folder, which is designated to a particular region of neurosurgery, which is vascular or onco or spine or pediatric neurosurgery. So this is an example of microplanning, because any day, let us suppose I want to revise any oncological emergency, any brain tumor, I'll go to my oncology folder, open it and search. It will not even take a fraction of a second. But if you keep all these photos, you keep on collecting it, but you have not organized them into proper folders and you're not labeled. If you have to revise again some tumors which are in particular regions of the brain, how will I go about it? I will have to scan through hundreds of images to reach that, and that will waste time. And over time, you will feel so tired to find those images that you will give it up. So at the end of your preparation for NEET or AIIMS or PGI, you may have thousands of images from various sources. But what if you can never revise them? Because this happens, and this comes from your disorganization. So the organization and stratification at very basic minimal levels. It will take you few seconds to label that image on the same moment you clicked it. And that will help you revise it in the end. If you are not organized, then all your hard work, all your collection will never be utilized. So that's why I took this image from my own phone to show you that this strategy not only works for your entrance, it works for your life. Your planning, your micro planning works for your night. So that's why till date, I also stratify all the images which are relevant to me in my phone. So that's why you use your smartphone smartly. Last and foremost of micro planning, you summarize all you have read in the day before you go to sleep. That is very important, because here comes the role of long-term potentiation of your memory. Like most people whom I have met in life, they have generally commented that I have a wonderful memory. So how do you have a wonderful memory? It is not just because you are born great. It's just because you do some things which other people don't. That is called as summation. The memory works on a basic principle of summation. You have to summate the thoughts at fixed intervals of time. You may have read multiple topics in a day, but you have to spend half an hour before you sleep for revising all you have read and seeing it again. Maybe you glance through, but all you forget, at least that portion has to be revised. People think that is wasting time and losing time, I should read something new. No, most important thing is whatever you have read should be recalled. And if you don't recall it, you will never build a long-term memory over it. And it's your long-term memory which helps you in the exam. It is not your short-term memory. Because short-term memory is totally blown off. Because you are in such stage of panic during the exam that you hardly remember anything. But things which go into your long-term memory can be useful during your exam. So that's why I would like to summarize the approach for microplanning. First, plan your next day the night before. Wake up early, use your daily interstices. Take one day at a time, give 100% focus to each task you are doing, whether it's on coaching, whether it's on practical work, on your internship, or your self-study, or even group study. Always study topics with a stopwatch on. Use your duty hours well. Don't consider your internship a total waste. Keep your image-based questions collected well, organized well, so that you can revise them in the end. And before you sleep in the night, first thing is revise what you have read, and then plan for the next day. That is how every day cycle will be followed by the next day's cycle. And if you follow this simple cycle without panicking, what will be the end result? The end result is bound to be better than what you would have done with panicking. Now, I'll go selective. Now, selective strategy. Now, this I'm addressing a group of people who are interns or post-interns. I'll be dividing this approach to NEET PG into two categories. First, those people who have read their syllabus once, who have finished their preparation at least once for NEET PG. And then I'll be addressing those people who have not finished their preparation even once for NEET PG. How to go about it. So I put a cartoon here. But this cartoon has a significance. The conventional process to your goal is step by step. But what I believe is we get smarter than this. We can do better. So why not take a ladder and directly go to the top? For this, I'd like to discuss a strategy. First, for the people who have not finished their syllabus once, whether they are interns or whether they are post-interns, who have not finished it once, because I am confident this lot would definitely think that it is not possible to crack NEET PG 2019. So for these people, I would suggest you should have only topic-based approach. Your attempt and attention should not be to finish the entire subject. That is totally wrong approach for you. With 4 months at your disposal, you should focus only and only on important topics. Otherwise, you will not be able to appear for your exam and you will not be able to fare through. The reason for that is the time at your disposal is less and we have to give respect and importance to all 19 subjects. So the easiest and the shortest trajectory to that is your topic-based approach. Now these topics we have mentioned already on our app, MedMiracle app. So you can access those topics from that. Apart from that, I'm not saying you follow hard fast the topics we have given. I'll just tell you the list of topics, how I have prepared. So you can prepare that list for yourself. You don't need to, because the list is actually based on common topics which are frequently asked. You need to understand basic thing that exam is not about repeats. It is not about repeats. Today, no exam, whether it's AIIMS exam, whether it's NEET exam, it is not a repeat exam. The questions are generally not repeated. But the only significance of doing repeats is to understand that what are the commonly asked topics. And generally a fresh question only will come from those topics. So that's why I say the topics remain the same. The questions are fresh. So if you don't have such a list like we have on MedMiracle, you can make it for yourself. The easiest way is you open last 5-year questions of NEET. Okay. Go subject wise. Let's start with an AT. So you first solve, let us say 10 to 12 questions in each exam of NEET for last 5 years. So around, if you have 12 questions in each exam, you have roughly 60 questions. And these 60 questions, you will realize, would more or less would have come only from 20 or 30 topics. Like nerve supply, nerve muscle, perineum, embryology, embryological derivatives of branchial arc. So topics remain the same. So for 60 questions, you may will have around 20 to 15 odd topics for last 5 years of NEET exam. Same is for AIIMS exam and PG exam. So this is very important. Then you make a list of those things for yourself, and that's why you can improve a lot. You can save a lot of time. So that is called as pattern recognition for various exams, and this can be applied for NEET, AIIMS and PGA. Then we do a topic-wise study. We don't intend to finish a subject. We just intend to finish the important topics in that subject. And for that, you can even integrate one subject with another. Let us say if we go for a particular like inborn errors of metabolism, right? That topic is covered in biochemistry, it is covered in a portion is covered in pediatrics also. So you can do it together. For systemic pathology, systemic medicine can be done together. So if you are starting a unit of, let us say, nephro, you can do renal physio, you can do renal pathology, finish RCC, finish Wilms tumor, go to nephro medicine, and then do a nepropharmacology and in treatment management and do the relevant biologicals. So that is how you go for a topic based integrated approach. But you have to be selective, and that selection comes on pattern recognition of individual exams, which is nothing heroic, just an understanding of what frequently is asked. I am again repeating, it is not important to cram your repeats, but it is very important to keep in mind what needs to be read. Next is image-based questions. I've already suggested that you should make a collection of your own from various sources, from your coaching institutes or from your books or from the internet, and keep it organized so that you can revise it at the end. Now, with 4 months just left, most people come and ask me, how many grand tests do I really need to give in 1 month? Now, that is a totally bizarre question which I don't really understand. Now, if you even give 10 or 15 grand tests in 4 months, that is not going to improve your rank. I can give it you in writing. Grand test is just to pace you up for the exam, just to time your exam. There is a group of people who are very passionate about giving grand. I am not against giving grand tests, but if you are too passionate about giving a grand test, you may actually waste a lot of time trying to improve on your grand test, which actually may not reflect the true paper you are going to face. It is important, and some people take the results of grand test to be a possible reflection of their rank. That is also not true. That if you get a, let us say, 500 rank in a grand test, doesn't mean you get a 500 rank in your actual exam also. You may get a rank 1. Now this grand test is only to pace you, prepare you to face a computer based test, prepare you to face the examination, help you get accustomed to the portfolio, the images, the types of presentations that you see in the exam. That's all. So what I would suggest in last 4 months, 1 grand test a month is sufficient. Please don't take it to heart, and don't be overconfident and don't be depressed. This is for the both set of people. There may be a third set of people who really don't believe in grand tests, that is like me. For them, it's fine. But there are a set of people who are too passionate to score and get a top rank in grand test, thinking that this is their evaluation. And then they waste too much time just correcting their mistakes they see in grand test rather than revising what they've already read. Because in every grand test you will have, let us say, 20 questions which you have no clue of. But revising what you have already read is more important than acquiring new knowledge. And there's a group of people who get disheartened because they are not performing well in the grand test. So addressing both the corners of extremity, I would say grand test is for your pace. It is not for your evaluation. So don't get disheartened and don't be overconfident. Just revise what you have read if you have so much time to waste. Next thing is your role of social media. Now, if you follow one group of your choice, it's good. But now this social media is like, a virus, it spreads. So people go from one group to the other group to the third group to the fourth group. What I would suggest is just follow 1 or 2 group if you really like it. Even if you don't follow group and people and your peers around you come up with new questions and interesting findings from various Facebook portals or WhatsApp groups, it's too much of waste of time. Because if you have a constraint of 4 months, if you don't revise your basic syllabus and every 4 hours or every 3 hours you check an update on Facebook and your WhatsApp group, and what happens is that generally on these groups people discuss controversial questions, and controversy is one thing which is hardly solved, because people solve it but actually don't know the examiner who set that controversy what he wants. So for controversial question, I think so, do not spend too much time solving that controversy and proving other people wrong or proving yourself right. It is better to accept one answer for yourself, and currently the trend of repeat questions is going very low. So even if you get a question, it may not be a controversial question. So you're spending so hard on solving a repeat controversial question which may even not come in your exam. So you have to be sensible. You don't need to waste too much time on these social medias. Next is, which subject should be done first, and is there a subject which we should leave? Now that is the kind of question we generally get from people. Sir, कुछ छोड़ के जा सकते हैं? At least for NEET. No, the answer is no. You cannot leave any subject. I think so all 19 subjects have some significance. Definitely, if you ask me in last 4 months which subjects I should start first, my first choice will be the subject which you know the least, followed by the subjects which carry the maximum bulk in the exam. If you feel you have read all subject once and okay, you are confident, then perhaps go for the bulk subjects and then you go for the short subjects. But if you have no clue about a subject, you have never read it well, then I think so that should be done first. Followed by, again, the same protocol. You do the bulky subjects first, you do PSM first, you do medicine first, you do pathology first, because there are 4 or 5 big subjects which contribute to nearly half of your exam. So 50% of your exam is going to come for that. And then you focus on subjects which will get you a rank, which are short subjects. Now this was a question which I was asked 2 years ago from a child from Bhubaneswar. He came to me and asked me, sir, I'm preparing for a NEET exam. Should I really give an AIIMS exam or a PGI exam? The answer is yes. So whether you are prepared or not, you should give an exam, because sometimes you will get new fresh questions in AIIMS and PGI which may be repeated in NEET. So this can be an incentive for you. Another incentive which people don't consider is that you may clear AIIMS for the matter of fact, and you may not have to give NEET also. So don't be so disappointed that I'm not prepared for AIIMS, so I should not give AIIMS. I'm not prepared for PGI, so I should not give PGI. Actually, the basic preparation remains for any exam the same, and it's your concepts which matter. Only you have to tailor your approach. There are more one-liners in NEET, there are less one-liners in AIIMS, there are more image-based questions in AIIMS, less in NEET, but everywhere you get a mixed bag. So I think so you should give an exam. Even if you are preparing for NEET, you should give an AIIMS exam. Now there is a group of people who really believe in group study, and there's a group of people who really believe in self-study. Now this is more of an individualized approach. People who feel confident and comfortable studying alone should study alone. Now I personally advocate group study for things which require rote learning, like forensic, microbiology, which you tend to forget, because unless until you recite it to someone, you don't remember. So especially for things which are hard to remember, that should be done in group study. Now we will discuss the strategy for people who have already finished their syllabus at least once and they want to give this year's NEET exam. Now my suggestion to you is, first of all, you revise what you have already read. Don't view for anything new. First of all, your notes, maybe your MCQ books, maybe some people would have read maybe handmade notes, some coaching notes. Everything is fine. What matters is revision. Now this group is ahead of those obviously which have not done their syllabus well. But you should not be overconfident. For you, the crux is revision and revision and revision. So next 4 months, you should revise your syllabus at least 3 times. So for most people, I would suggest a 60-day schedule of first revision followed by 45 days, followed by 15 days would be an ideal strategy to finish and revise your syllabus 3 times over and again. Again, if you feel you have a subject which you are weak on, then definitely you will have to revise that subject first. But again, revising core subjects, bulky subjects first, followed by short subjects which are more volatile, is always beneficial. Most important, don't be overconfident, because overconfidence is more lethal than your depression. Okay, so don't be overconfident, stay focused. For you people, do give AIIMS and PGI exam, because the AIIMS exam is generally in November and PGI is also around November or early December. The advantage is that, first and foremost, which I always say, you may clear AIIMS and you will never have to give a NEET PG like I did. Second, you will get a real life evaluation of actually where you stand. That is very important. Even if your target is, okay, you have decided I don't want to go to AIIMS, I don't want to go to PGI, my target is only NEET. Agreed. But still you should give a NEET AIIMS exam, because rather than your grand test, that AIIMS will tell you, okay, this is where you stand. Though the preparation for NEET is slightly different, I agree. It may not be the exact reflection of the rank you will get in NEET. So some people may get a good rank in NEET, may not get rank in AIIMS. People who get rank in AIIMS may not get rank in NEET. Agreed. But this will actually give you a real type scenario of giving an exam. The stress of an exam, the stress of failing, and a joy of performing. Either way. As I've already pointed out, do not read anything new. Revise, revise, and revise as many times as possible. That is the key for people who have already finished their syllabus once, who are either interns or post-interns. And don't be overconfident. So, in the end, now, why I put this picture is, 2 days back I got an email from a student who is from Kerala, and he had put me a query on our portal about the current situation. Now this, I would like to address those group of people, especially whose families are there in Kerala, which has been struck by a flood, and God knows how many would have lost their home, would have lost a lot of support infrastructure for their families. And that child came up to me and told me, sir, I'm from Kerala, I'm preparing in Delhi, but my family is in Kerala and they are in a very bad shape because of the floods. So I am depressed and I'm unable to prepare. So I was really touched by that. And so this is for those people, maybe sitting in Delhi, in any other part of the country, who are facing situations which are not under their control. But still, what I would like to say is, do not let your misfortune control your destiny. Some things you cannot control, but what you cannot control, here is your performance. Your depression will not lead you out of your depression. The only thing which can get you out of your depression, only thing which can give you happiness and happiness to your family, if you perform, if you are successful. So those people who are struggling or their families are struggling, what I would suggest in this time, that you should not give up hope, you should not lose focus, and should not consider yourself at a disadvantage. Because there's a very famous quote, very famous quote from a movie called as The Secret, which says, you may be facing one of the toughest times of your life at this moment, but what is to follow could be the greatest gift you ever receive, even if it doesn't seem likely right now. So always remember, out of your greatest despair comes the greatest gift of your life. Best of luck.